The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.
And welcome into Your Game Plan for Retirement, where we are going to check in with your local income allocation coach, Rick Durkee, in just a moment. But right now, we're checking in with author of Income Allocation, David Gaylor. His book is about the power created by reliable streams of retirement income. And David, in your decades as a financial and retirement coach, you have noticed a couple things that help increase the chances of a successful retirement.
To retire successfully, Peter, here's the secret. You have to take the two biggest retirement risk off the table. The first is longevity, and the second is sequence risk.
Well, in this edition of Your Game Plan for Retirement, we will address longevity and sequence risk and how to remove those from your retirement. But right now, you'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Charleston and the listeners to WSC to their local income allocation coach, Rick Durkee.
If you're listening to the show today, I want to encourage you to call Coastal Financial Planning Group at 800-491-6220. I want to encourage you to spend some time with Rick Durkee at Coastal Financial Planning Group. Rick will show you how to take doubt and worry away from your retirement and replace it with peace of mind and confidence. Here's your local income allocation coach. I want to encourage you to call him at Coastal Financial Planning Group, 800-491-6220.
Well, we'll check in with Rick Durkee, president and founder of Coastal Financial Planning Group, a little bit later in the program. But right now, let's get started with Your Game Plan for Retirement.
For millions of Americans who retire every year, the task of ensuring that your money is working hard enough to provide you with a consistent paycheck can make the job of working for that paycheck seem easy. Retirement doesn't signal the end of financial worry. In fact, for the majority of retirees, it's just the beginning. The assets you have built must be able to provide you and your family with financial security for all the years to come. That's why you need a game plan for retirement, making sure you have a plan and that your money is working hard to provide you with an income you can depend on. This is Your Game Plan for Retirement.
And welcome into Your Game Plan for Retirement, the show that challenges traditional financial planning concepts, some of the outdated conventional wisdom on building for a secure retirement and how to build retirement success. We talk about the income allocation model that can provide for more financial freedom in retirement through a foundation of predictable streams of income. And we always check in with the author of Income Allocation, David Gaylor. David, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Peter. As always, happy to be here.
Well, David, we know that the market has done pretty well as of late. However, I think a lot of people are to a point where they have some apprehension or some concern over what the future of the market is going to hold, and they aren't in a position where they want to lose the ground that they have made or made back since the last market downturn. How can somebody help protect the assets that they have while still having the opportunity for those assets to continue to grow into the future?
Well, the old theory of don't have all your eggs in one basket first is great advice. And, whenever we look at someone's portfolio, really what I'm looking for is the R word. I'm looking for risk. Basically, in every portfolio, there's an unknown amount of risk that people are carrying. And I'm not talking about diversification or asset allocation because that failed. What we're looking at is how much of my portfolio is exposed to risk, whether it be in bonds, whether it be in stocks. During the last downturn, 2007 to 2009, what we saw was losses across all spectrums. So what people thought was safe and diversified, it did not work. So basically, our thought here is there's a portion of your portfolio that should not, under any circumstances, be exposed to market loss. And that portion of your portfolio is what you need to live on. That's what's going to provide your income. So we want to take volatility away from our lifestyle. We want to take sequence risk, and that's volatility whenever we're withdrawing from our portfolio when the portfolio is down. There was a study that was done, one of the leading experts in retirement planning. He said, to retire successfully, Peter, here's the secret. You have to take the two biggest retirement risk off the table. The first is longevity, and the second is sequence risk. reading my book, Income Allocation, will teach people how to do that.
Well, folks, that's definitely a book that you want to get your hands on. And David, when folks are worried about a market crash, do you feel it's best just to retreat from the market altogether and wait it out, or are there potentially other alternatives?
Generally, when people retreat from the market altogether, they do so at the worst possible time, and that is near the bottom. Warren Buffett has a great saying, and he's one of the greatest investors ever. But his saying is, when others are fearful, be greedy, and when others are greedy, be fearful. Now, that's one of the hardest things to do. But generally, when I see the average investor, whenever they decide to sell their mutual funds and their stocks, it's generally after the market has already given up so much, we're near the bottom, and they're doing it at the worst possible time they could. So again, what's the alternative to that? It's to have the part of my portfolio that my lifestyle is not subject to that 30, 40, 50% drawdown or loss. That's why people sell, is the overwhelming fear of running out of money. I'm pulling from my portfolio. I just lost 30, 40, 50%. I've got to conserve what's left. And the strategy of income allocation will create two buckets. We're going to have an investment bucket. We're going to have an income bucket. The two are not connected in any way. And the income bucket comes from a contractually guaranteed source that will pay a predictable, sustainable, and measurable income stream for the rest of their lifetime.
So in other words, the money that you don't want to have fluctuating, your income, the amount that you're using to pay the bills, that shouldn't be exposed to that risk of fluctuation and be invested in the market, is some of the guidance that you would offer to people. However, if somebody is worried about that market crash and protecting themselves from the market downturn, you also just can't bury the money in a coffee can in the backyard. So there have to be some type of other alternatives to offer that predictability, right, David?
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say the A word. Okay, I'm going to say annuity. And here's what I like about annuities. There are things annuities do for retirees that nothing else does. They will give you a higher payout rate than what's recommended that you take from the stock market. We need less of your money to put there. And contractually, they're going to guarantee to take the volatility out of your life. If you know someone who has a pension, that individual does not hate that pension. If you know someone who has Social Security, other than the fact that Social Security doesn't get the increases that they think, they're very thankful for that Social Security check. Those are forms of annuities, and a pension is an annuity. A generation ago, people were retiring on income. They lived on income. That's what we all live on every day. But for some reason, over the last generation, this message of retiring on assets has been accepted. And that's what's causing the problem. That's what's causing the fear of running out of money, is watching my portfolio balance fluctuate wildly during the year while I'm trying to take a steady amount of money out of it. That is the cause of sequence risk. That's not the cure, it's the cause. So there are certain tools that we use when people need guaranteed streams of income. When they have an income gap, there are a few things that fill the hole better than what I just mentioned.
So folks, again, the premise of the book, Income Allocation, is about the financial freedom that's created through reliable retirement income. And that's something that you need in your portfolio. In fact, it's a separate plan altogether. You've always heard the conventional wisdom of don't put all your eggs in one basket and diversify. Yet so many of you have all your eggs in one basket, and that's the market basket, or maybe just a couple of baskets, the market and the bank, and you're at two extremes. There is a middle ground there, and that's what the Income Allocation book describes, is how to have that reliable, predictable retirement income on one hand, and on the other hand, also have your growth assets so that you can feel comfortable with both and create consistent income that will provide you with financial freedom. But maybe people don't have as much true diversity in their plans as they think they do, and that's why it's important that you get a true income allocation plan designed for your retirement stability. The book Income Allocation is about the power of the stability created by reliable streams of retirement income. And your local income allocation coach in the Charleston and surrounding coastal Carolina area is Rick Durkee, president and founder of Coastal Financial Planning Group. I want to remind listeners on WSC that you can reach Rick Durkee for a complimentary review and evaluation and design of your income allocation plan by calling 800-491-6220. Again, that number, 800-491-6220. We have to take a quick break to check in with Rick Durkee right now.
Hey folks, Rick Durkee here, bringing you your Game Plan for Retirement radio show to WSC and the coastal Carolina region. I am also your local income allocation coach and believe in the income allocation model for retirement planning. Not everyone is aware of what an income allocation is and why it's so vital to retirement success. Unfortunately, I believe that the reason for this is because most savers and investors have never been told about having an income allocation, how to set one up, and why it's so important. And it could be because your current broker or advisor wouldn't be paid the same if you knew the truth about having an income allocation. That's why I'd like to introduce the income allocation model to the listeners on WSC right here in Charleston. If you like what you hear, then give me a call and I can help show you the benefits of having an income allocation as part of your diversified retirement portfolio. In this or any economy, you owe it to yourself and your loved ones to learn more about how to build for and generate a more secure income before, during, and throughout retirement by utilizing an income allocation. My suggestion is to tune in each week, and when you're ready to speak with someone about your plans for the future, to give me a call. Set up a time for a no-cost, no-obligation 3-step review. We will help you analyze some of the key aspects of your game plan for retirement, including helping you make sure that you have a true income allocation. And as a special gift, if you call and come in to talk with a member of our team, you can also pick up a copy of the authoritative book on the subject of generating retirement income called Income Allocation. So if you have saved so that you can create an income in retirement, rely on yourself, and be self-sufficient in any economy, give the Coastal Financial Planning Group a call right now, 800-491-6220. We are right here in Charleston, and we'll set aside time to talk with you at absolutely no charge or obligation, and you can also pick up a copy of the book Income Allocation for free. So call 800-491-6220. That's 800-491-6220.
And welcome back to Your Game Plan for Retirement. You just heard from your local income allocation coach, Rick Durkee, and we are talking on the program with author of the book, Income Allocation, which talks about the power created by reliable streams of retirement income and how much financial freedom that can provide you into and throughout retirement. It's a balance of plans. On one hand, you have your growth plan, your asset allocation plan, and on the other plan, you have your security plan, that income allocation plan. It's truly about having a diversity of plans. Now, inherently, I think we all realize that there is a need for financial guidance. And David, there are a lot of different times in somebody's life when they may be ready, they may be motivated to finally make that leap and begin working with a financial professional. When are some of those moments that you see most commonly that people are ready to begin planning for their financial future, or maybe just make changes to their existing path?
Well, really, what I see is two types of individuals. Number one, we have the individual who waits for the big life-changing event, such as retirement. And maybe retirement's a month away, so I need to meet with a financial guy because all of my money's been going into my 401k. We've actually had phone calls like that, people who are just very, very close to that date, and they begin interviewing people. And then we see the people who are planners, and maybe 3 to 5 years out, they begin reaching out. So there's those two types of people. And then there's also folks out there who maybe they've changed jobs 10 years ago and they got their old 401k, they just threw it at Vanguard or Fidelity, and they're not getting a whole lot of help with it there. They're maybe talking to someone over the telephone, and that's a fit for some people. But I would highly encourage someone to interview an individual that is maybe within an hour of your home. You don't necessarily always have to have the individual who is in the same community as you. And I'll speak about Sydney, Ohio, from experience. I was born and raised here, and what I do speak nationally. I train and I coach financial advisors nationally, but I do have a local practice here. But the thing about Sydney, Ohio is it's a small town. And a lot of times whenever we want to do some shopping, a lot of people from Sydney will drive about an hour away. If we want to go to a nicer restaurant, we drive about an hour away. So just having that local expert, let's put parentheses around the word local. And a lot of our clients live an hour, half an hour away, and they do drive to our office up here in Sydney.
So, David, it's not that the advisor has to be the closest one to you. You need to be selective, but that proximity and locality, that is an important part of making the decision on who to work with when you're searching for a financial planner or advisor?
Absolutely. Let's talk about it from a medical standpoint. Our family doctor is in Sydney, Ohio, but I have an arthritis condition in which I need a specialist, and my specialist is an hour away. So what I would encourage people is, depending upon your financial need, that would determine the level of experience and expertise in the advisor that I choose. So we are an expert in the income and investment planning standpoint, and our investment planning is different than the traditional brokerage house, and that's what I want to encourage people to explore. It's not a matter of comparing my mutual funds to someone else's mutual funds. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about creating two different types of retirement plans, one for income, one for growth. But then how is the growth managed? So do I feel that we're worth an hour drive? Well, if I talk to the clients that have been clients for a decade or more that drive up here, they invest that time to come to our office because they feel that they're dealing with someone who specializes in what they need.
Well, David, you mentioned that you do get calls from folks maybe a week or a month before they retire. I assume that there are some things that are better to be done well ahead of time, and so there may be a reason for folks to not procrastinate so much when it comes to making that decision that it's time to work with a financial planner or advisor?
Ideally, Peter, I think at a minimum 5 years. What we need to be looking for is how much of you have saved right now, how much are you going to need in income in the future, and the more time that we can build into it, the more safe leverage that we can create. We're inputting a contractual guarantee. We can look into the future and know, worst case scenario, how much income we're going to get. But the more time we have to do that, the less money we need to commit to that strategy. So, let's say you're going to retire at age 65 and you're 59 and a half. That's a wonderful window of opportunity because now you do have access to your 401k. But once you're age 59 and a half, you can do an in-service distribution. You can take control of that money yourself. But yes, ideally 3-5 years, it gives us time to put a plan together. Now, that doesn't mean if retirement's a month away, that we still can't do that. We work with people who are currently retired. They might have been retired 2 or 3 years. We just put together a better plan for those folks.
So if somebody wanted to start a retirement plan for a long time but had no idea where to start, or maybe they've done some planning in the past but it felt cookie cutter, or they were part of a group plan that is not very customizable, those are also ideal candidates to reach out and maybe begin that search by contacting the local income allocation coach.
Ideal would not even be a strong enough word. Yes, those individuals should be the ones. You're in the 401k that has the lifestyle fund and you're going to pull 3% of your money. Something like that. Yes, the cookie cutter approach. We want to get away from that because this is an individual need. It's not a group need. It's individual. And this is something that needs to be built just for you, that has your needs and your specific desires, goals for what you want to happen in your retirement put into place.
And there's also another group out there that probably is uncertain, but they would like to know when they could realistically consider retiring and want to be able to stop worrying about money. Would those people also be ideal candidates to talk to their local income allocation coach?
Absolutely, Peter, because there's people that I've met with that based on, and here's the thing we have to understand, we have to focus on fundamentals. So from a fundamental standpoint, we may be speaking to someone who technically does not have enough money to retire, and maybe they're wanting to retire in 3 years. From an income allocation standpoint, we found that they already have enough money to retire. So some have decided, I want to retire right now, and this is the plan we're going to put together. Others have continued working for 3 years, but here's the difference. They went from doubt and worry of, am I going to have enough to retire? Will my money last? To knowing that in 3 years, I can absolutely retire and I know what my income is going to be. And here's how much extra money we have left over from our portfolio that we're just going to save, invest, and we're going to be able to spend from. So the best time to talk to someone would be today. The next best time would be tomorrow. It's kind of like, when was the best time to plant a tree? Well, 30 years ago. When's the second best time? Right now. So yes, this is one of the biggest decisions you're going to make during your lifetime, and the ramifications, you're going to live with these ramifications for decades potentially. So we get one chance to get this right. And my advice is, talk to the local income allocation coach and see where you are. Just take some time and understand the position that you're in.
Well, for Charleston and those of you listening on WSC, your local income allocation coach is president and founder of Coastal Financial Planning Group, Rick Durkee. And if you'd like to find out more about the income allocation model, or maybe pick up a copy of that book, you can reach Rick Durkee by calling 800-491-6220. Again, you can call 800-491-6220. And Rick has also made a very convenient way for you to watch an important video. This video explains the difference between different types of financial planners, advisors, or brokers, those that are only incentivized to sell a product and those that are truly putting plans together with your best interest in mind. It's important for you to know that there's a difference. It's important for you to be able to identify and recognize that difference. If you'd like to watch a great video that helps explain that difference to you in easy-to-understand language in the privacy and comfort of your own home or right on your mobile device, all you have to do is take out your mobile phone right now and text Rick D, RICKD, all one word, no spaces, to 555-888. Again, just text Rick D to 555-888. You'll get a link back, you'll enter your name and your email address, and an email will be sent to you that will allow you to watch this great video that explains the difference and how to identify the difference between different types of advisors. So again, text Rick D to 555-888 or give Rick Durkee a call at 800-491-6220. Again, that's 800-491-6220. Quick break and we'll check in with Rick Durkee right now.
You've just heard from the author of Income Allocation and a close personal friend of mine, David Gaylor. I've invited David to WSC here in Charleston because I believe in the income allocation model. I've had him several times as a guest on my show, Retire Right. Having an income allocation is about the financial freedom that comes from a predictable, reliable income in retirement. If you're listening today on WSC in or around Charleston, I encourage you to place a call and request a complimentary 3-step review for your retirement income allocation. Did you know that seniors are the fastest growing demographic group currently entering poverty? Many of these people never thought it would happen to them. In most cases, it's avoidable. But even the standard Wall Street model of diversification and distribution for income in retirement has a higher failure rate than most retirees are willing to accept. That's why having your income allocation reviewed and properly set up is an important part of your game plan for retirement. This radio show and even the book can only take you part of the way. So take action now to improve your outlook for retirement by setting up a proper income allocation. It's as easy to get started as picking up the phone and calling 800-491-6220. That's 800-491-6220. If you have saved for retirement and you don't plan on depending on Social Security alone to carry you through, this call is a vital step for you to take. There is no cost, and you will be under no obligation. If you come in for our exclusive 3-step review, you can also pick up a copy of the book Income Allocation. The number to call is 800-491-6220.
David, we've spoken previously about the signs of great financial health, and one of the items on that list I would like to spend some more time exploring because I feel like it takes more than just an individual for this one to be checked off the list, and that is for married couples that a spouse knows enough to be able to manage the plan if something happens to either one of the two. That's going to be an important part of being in a stable financial position because most of us care about ourselves, but we also care about our family and loved ones and want to make sure that they're in good position as well, correct?
Absolutely. Whenever we sit down with a married couple, I see two kinds. I see the kind in which one spouse wants nothing to do with the finances, period. And then we see the couple where they're both involved. They're engaged. They understand what's going on, or at least they're making an effort to understand what's going on. And I'll tell you, I've had the client to where maybe the husband takes care of everything, and then the husband passes away and the wife comes in, and she is absolutely lost. And I'll tell you, in my own household, I make the investment decisions. My wife trusts me to do that. After all, it's what I do for a living. But there's one thing that I ask my wife to do, and that is to pay all of the monthly bills. So she at least understands what's going on. She knows where the money is. She knows how much money is there. She knows what it takes to live each month. And that's what I want to encourage people to begin doing. Make sure that you understand these basics that are going to affect your life.
A lot of times I feel like people forget about the need to plan for both people's lifetimes, and they just plan on having enough money to last through their own lifetime. And I got to feel that's a big mistake a lot of people are making.
Well, it is, because the most basic thing, Peter, is we don't know how long each one of us is going to live. So we have to look at whose income is doing what in the household. So, let's say, again, we're getting $3,000 a month. Well, the husband might be $2,000 and the wife might be $1,000. But either one of them passes away, that lesser benefit goes away. It also applies with pensions. And a lot of times we'll sit down with people that have a pension and they don't know what the survivorship benefit is, which again is astounding to me. Maybe they made that decision 5 years ago and they forgot about it. It's one of the things that we ask them to go back and look at, because we always want to understand the economic impact of the loss of a spouse.
What can we do to help prepare for that, or at least be more aware of that going into some of the important decisions that we're going to make when we prepare for retirement?
Well, there's some things that we can't control, such as the government program. That's going to happen. But the one thing that we do implement is that we plan for a joint lifetime, because I may have one spouse that lives 30 days and I may have the other one live 30 years. And what I don't want to happen is that income to go down when one of those spouses passes away. We want that to be a stable thing. So again, when someone passes away, the bills don't drop by 50%. So our job as the advisor and the planner in this case is to make sure that we have a steady income that's predictable, measurable, and sustainable for both lifetimes, because we don't know who's going to pass away first. It's not fun to talk about. But again, it's one of those things that keeps you awake at night. I will say some of the most miserable people that I've met in retirement is where maybe people where the wife really didn't work during her career. The husband was a big earner. He had a nice pension and a nice Social Security. And whenever he passes away, if he goes first, her lifestyle will change just based upon the amount of income that is going to be lost.
Well, folks, just another strong reason why you need a sound income allocation plan for your retirement and the retirement enjoyment of your spouse as well. So pick up the phone and give your local income allocation coach, Rick Durkee, a call at 800-491-6220. Again, that number, 800-491-6220. And that's all the time that we have this week for Your Game Plan for Retirement.
Thanks for listening to Your Game Plan for Retirement. My name is Rick Durkee, and I'm the president and founder of the Coastal Financial Planning Group right here in Charleston. And I believe in the income allocation model for the power and freedom of reliable retirement income. I also believe that you deserve retirement on your terms, with security and stability. If you believe the same as part of this show, I'll make my time available to you. If you have saved and you would like to remain self-sufficient throughout retirement, call now and here's what you'll receive. You'll receive a complimentary no-obligation review of your game plan for retirement. This 3-step review could help you keep more of your money in your pockets, working harder for you by assessing the fees that you may be paying on your money. We'll help you review, evaluate, and potentially reduce taxes you may be paying now and throughout retirement. We'll also help you spot the red flags that could damage your chances for living the retirement you envision. We will help evaluate the risks your money is exposed to. And most importantly, we will help you identify your income gaps and design an income allocation plan to provide you the peace of mind throughout your retirement that allows you to live day to day without worrying about your financial plan. This is what we offer to the listeners right here on WSC. Call today for a complimentary, no-obligation 3-step review to make a positive impact on your financial future. The number to call is 800-491-6220.
While we believe the information in this broadcast is reliable, we cannot guarantee its accuracy. Opinions expressed are subject to change without notice and are not intended as investment advice or solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security. Please consult your financial professional before making any investment decisions. Investment advisory services are offered through Precision Capital Management, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The firm only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. SEC registration is not an endorsement of the firm by the Commission and does not mean that the advisor has attained a specific level of skill or ability.
Fiduciary duty extends solely to investment advisory advice and does not extend to other activities such as insurance or broker-dealer services. Advisory clients are charged a quarterly fee for assets under management, while insurance products pay a commission, which may result in a conflict of interest regarding compensation.